Y'all, he was so mean to me. Well, hey y'all. Y'all have not gotten a video from me recently. It's been a couple, 3 weeks maybe since I did a video, but no, I have not quit YouTube. I have been extremely busy. Farming is not for the weak, especially when it rains every day and you know the animals still have to be fed. But the harvest came in, and when it came in, I'm telling y'all, it came in hard and heavy. So not only was I burning the candle at both ends trying to preserve the harvest, but also, you know, I had my little grandson, but I've done a video since then. But now he has had surgery and had his tonsils removed. And then Mr. Green took vacation. And of course, we went and did a few things and took some time for ourselves. And then I had a few doctor's appointments. So all that combined, and still running a farm and maintaining and trying to keep grass cut when you have to cut it every other day because it won't stop raining. So I'm not complaining, because last year I remember it being a drought and we needed rain. So I'm not complaining. I'll take whatever the Lord gives me. But there's a few things I want to catch you guys up on, because there's been some major changes here. So right now I'm going to grab some feed for the emu chicks. I hear Arlie calling me. And we're going to feed those emus, and we're going to feed all the animals. But first, there's a couple of things I need to get out of this building. So let me get these things. I'll meet you guys at the fence. All right, so Daisy knows that I feed her separately from everybody else, but it's not Daisy's turn to feed. So I'm going to have to disappoint her here. But it's the boys' turn right now. They are getting so big. Shut, sweet boys. Shut, sweet boys. Oh, babies. So Daisy has to eat separately from the other goats, because Daisy can't, for some reason, the other ones just kind of beat her up. So she can't fight for her food, and otherwise she can't maintain her weight, while the other ones are super fat. Daisy, I'll bring your food right back to you, okay, girl? So all of these eat separately, but right now I have to go to the barn to get all their food, while these guys right here are eating their breakfast. Sweet Arlie. Okay, so while I'm on the way to the barn to get breakfast for everyone else, I'm going to talk to you about the major changes at the barn. So I'm going to turn the camera around and I want to show you something. That pasture over there, that's where the steers were. There was absolutely no grass, and now there is, because I took the steers off that pasture. That was the major change that I have done here. Now, what did I do with the steers? Everybody gets along in the main pasture. Here's the thing is, Oakley and Ireland lived over there, okay, with Nellie. But the pasture was eaten completely down. Meanwhile, the main pasture here is beautiful. And I've actually had to cut grass a few times to get the tops knocked out of the grass and make it edible again. And I'm only doing like a third of the pasture at a time. That way there's always good tall grass that will seed out. And then there is short grass that they can get the fresh sugars from to keep it healthy. So that has worked out. And I've done that probably 3 times. it needs one more time now over here in the tall stuff, because it gets the hair gets like knee high, and you know, if I knock the tops out, it reseeds the pasture and gives them some good healthy grass. Now Nellie and Arlie, they met one another, and so far so good. Now the only time that Nellie and Arlie does not get along in the pasture is when it's feeding time. Otherwise, they get along perfectly. But since it's feeding time and they're all here at the fence, Nellie and Arlie will not like one another. Now, they keep their distance usually, but when it's feeding time, one of them is going to try to kick the other one or bite the other one. But for the most part, they're good friends. Now, when I first put them together, Arlie's a male, Nellie's a female. No, Nellie can't have a baby because she's a mule. But that didn't stop her from trying. So Arlie decided that he wanted to be Nellie's boyfriend, and Nellie wasn't ready for a boyfriend, and so the fight took place. Here's the thing is, I needed all of the animals to have green grass, and since the ones in the steers pasture did not have green grass, which it's growing, and I've got the whole thing opened up, so they got the run of the whole pasture. They can go back and forth into the smaller pasture, or they can come in here, which they like to stay in here with the good green grass. Now we are going to fence in the pond pasture, and I know I keep talking about that. We just haven't had the time to start on that yet. Helen is as tall as Ireland. Now she's not as wide because she's not as old, but you can see she's as tall. They get along perfect. I mean, it's awesome. They love one another. And Ireland is really a good steer. He's not aggressive at all to me, and he knows exactly what stall he's supposed to go in to eat when I come to feed, which is just so bizarre to me because he was so trainable. But y'all, with that being said, I don't come in this pasture without this. Never, ever, ever would I trust a steer that size with horns. Just won't do it. I mean, occasionally I get run over by Helen, so I'm certainly not going to trust a steer. So hold on 1 minute and let me get my hand wrapped around it right. All right, he's right there. So I've got this turned on, and he knows exactly what this is. I've never shocked him with it. All I simply do is tap him on his rear end with it. It's simply a stick. Never have I had to shock him. So this is my baby girl. All right, guys, let's go to the barn. Helen, stop. All right. Let's get him in his stall. Everybody go to your stalls. She's still mean. Go to your stall. He knows where he's supposed to go. Helen goes in hers. Ireland goes in his. Now, occasionally he wants to look at me first. Get in your stall. So this is what I do when he goes in. I just come and close the door so he's in there. He's hungry. He's a hungry boy. Arlie, you're next. Now, Arlie and Nellie will fight till they get their food. Here. Goldie loves her some cracked corn scratch feed. Okay. Chick. Look at that. All right, so everybody is in their stalls. Now, Nellie, she just eats out here in her bowl. She's fine with that. Everybody else has their own bowls in there. Right here is Ireland, over there's Helen, and then the two guardians there, Yeti and Sophie, and then over there is Arlie. And Nellie eats right here. So everybody goes to their own bowl. It was so easy to get them started once I'd made the decision to put everybody in the pasture together. It was as if it just kicked in for them that they still wanted their own space to eat, and they just knew where to go. Now, as you can see, there's grass coming up in here now. And there's my compost from the old hay pile over here. But there is grass, y'all. And the more it rains, the thicker it gets. Now, there are still some weeds that I keep cut down, but that young grass is starting to shoot up really well. I'm really happy about it. Now, over there in that pasture, yeah. I've got a young man that's going to come and help me to get the fallen trees out of here and get it cleaned up a bit. The hay, they're not really eating the hay because there is so much grass in here. So I'm okay with that because, you know, it's grass season. I've got to come in here and do a few repairs. I just haven't had time to do that. Like the electric fence is kind of sagging in some places here. So I've got to take care of that. Now, first, right now, I've got to go over here and make sure that all the waters are full and clean, etc. I know you guys are asking because you only see one steer. So you know that Dr. D had been over here with Arlie and Nellie and, you know, had even told me that he was a little concerned about how aggressive Oakley, the black steer, had gotten, and he just kept encouraging me to not be in the pasture alone with him, and he was just aggressive. He was aggressive to Ireland. Matter of fact, he stabbed Ireland with a horn. Now, it did not hurt Ireland because he fought back, but he did leave a wound on him that I had to treat. So there's that. I had to bring hay into the pasture, and it was not the last time because it was before I moved the hay ring. I usually had Caden to help me when he was here. If I could not get Oakley up into a stall, I would have Caden to help me with doing the hay. But this particular day, I needed help, so I recruited my daughter, who, you know, every time I talked about getting rid of Oakley, my daughter, she just loved him. She thought he was the prettiest thing, and she would just beg me not to. So that particular day, I recruited her to come and help me with the hay duties, and she was just more than willing. She came out and she put her little boots on, and she's not a farm person. But she put them boots on and she came to the barn. Well, I had to get off the tractor to cut the hay. She was gate barked, so I had to get off the tractor to cut the covering off the hay and put it into the hay ring. And Oakley came out of nowhere. Y'all, he was so mean to me. I don't think that he meant to be aggressive to me because I raised him. I think he was more playing as an adolescent and did not know his strength or power. But he ran me up on the top of the tractor while he proceeded to rip that hay row apart with his horns. And the whole tractor was shaking. I did not get it on video, but it's probably the first time that I was ever afraid of Oakley. And right then, my daughter said, "Mama, you can't keep him. He is going to hurt you." So I didn't keep him, y'all. That was the decision maker right there when someone else saw what was going on. And, I could not put my family through being worried about being around him. Because, if he were to get out, then there would be nobody that, I'm not afraid of him. That's probably the problem, is I'm not afraid. But that particular day on top of that tractor, I was a little worried. But he is no longer here. And Ireland has done very well out in the main pasture. He has shown no aggression at all. And I am getting another calf in a few months. He is still on his mama. We won't name it because this is a homestead and a farm, so he won't be named. And anyway, he'll be joining our farm for a while. So that's what happened here. So we've got the perfect, you hear the peacocks, the boys? He's talking to me. He is definitely talking to me. Now, all is well. So everyone's out in the main pasture. I have to go turn them loose and then grab a couple of scoops of feed to feed the goats and Dixie over in the other pasture, because while they've been locked away from the emu boys have been eating. They'll be done by the time I get over there, and then I can open it up and feed all the other animals and Dixie. And I will be back over here to fill water tanks and to make sure that everyone has water for the day, and then I'll be done feeding. So feeding takes a little while in the mornings, just simply because it does, and then I'll have to gather eggs next. But can y'all believe these two mamas? Look at this. So y'all, I came out to the barn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're all still there. I came out to the barn one morning, and these two mamas, don't know where they were, but they had these babies. And they have cared for these babies and loved these babies, and the babies has done super well. And all 7 are still there. Don't know where they hatched them from, but they are there. And it's okay. They can keep their babies. Do you remember a while back there was some babies that were hatched in here? There were 7 of them. There's one of them right there. I believe he's going to be a little Roo. Yeah, probably so. But there are several of them, all 7. They're still here. All right, Arlie, you about ready to get out? Let me grab some feed, grab my hot stick because I'm going to open Ireland's door and go back to the other side. Hey, baby. Nope, no earrings. I forgot I had them in. I have Daisy eating separate. Okay. He's going to go over and check out what the goats have to eat. There's that big boy down there. Come here, Petrie. Petrie, come here. He is interested in the grass and weeds instead of me. Y'all want a greenhouse update? All right, y'all look at this. So everything's pretty much done except for okra. The okra is, I don't know how tall that is, but it's still producing. The peas, I have started pulling the peas up over there, so most of them are gone. There's a few that are still on a trellis that are, well, there's a few that are still alive. I hadn't got pulled up yet. But I've started cleaning up in here. There are still some tomatoes. They're the end of season tomatoes, so they are very small. So, you know, they're not going to be, well, here's a couple of bigger ones right here. But for the most part, stuff is kind of dying out. Now, there are a lot of pepperoncini peppers, and then I've got a bunch of cayenne that are coming on the vine again. I have done a lot of peppers. These are the heatless habanero peppers, and you can see that is a big bush right there. So these have the taste of, it's a Haas product, but they have the taste of a hot pepper, except it fools you because the heat never comes. You can almost taste the heat, but without the heat, if that makes sense. So what I've been doing is, these will be good in salsa. I'm gonna make some salsa today with some of the leftover tomatoes. I have been putting them in jars and pickling them as if I would a hot pepper sauce, and then adding the hot cayenne or jalapeno peppers to them for the heat. I know it doesn't make sense to have heatless peppers and then add heat, but it's a different heat. I don't know, I can't explain it except for the fact that they are just super delicious, but I'm just overrun with peppers. I probably should not ever plant that many peppers again. So I just have a major pepper overrunness. I don't know how else to say it. I got too many peppers. All right, so the cucumbers, you know, it's at the end of the season and they're starting to be kind of odd shaped, but y'all, I have made so many pickles, and I promise you, look at the size of this okra here, y'all. Put so much okra in I have given okra away. I have frozen okra. I might should just pickle some okra, but I'm just overrun with okra, and it's only 3/4 of a row of okra at the most. Either way, everything is at the end of the season. So tomatoes, yes, I got enough tomatoes canned that I can use them for the next year till I get tomatoes again. So now that I've gotten everything as far as vegetables canned and in the freezer, I'm cleaning out the greenhouse. I'm going to go ahead and get it cleaned out and get ready for planting something else in there. And I'm thinking now that I will plant the entire greenhouse in one thing at a time. Next spring, I'll plant all tomatoes. And then midsummer, I'll plant all peas. So at this point in time, I'm trying to decide if I want to plant more peas, because you see, I've already filled up my freezer. I've got a ton of peas for the winter. But do I want to plant more peas, or do I want to plant sweet corn in the greenhouse? I have a small field over on the back side of sweet corn, but I don't know how much it's going to produce or how much I'll end up having. So there's my dilemma. What do y'all think? All peas or all corn? Whatever it is, from now on, I'm going to plant all one thing in the greenhouse at a time. I'm not going to plant 1,000 different things because it almost worked me to death. So what do y'all think? Y'all give me your answer. Well, y'all, it is hot out here, and I am going to now try to catch up with laundry, and I'm not doing anything else in the greenhouse today. I'm just done out there, and I'm just going to try to stay in the cool because the heat index has been like 100 plus here, but it'll rain a little bit and then it just increases the humidity, and you can see I've just got water just falling off of me. Yeah, it's just been so busy. We've had those major changes at the barn where we've turned everybody out in the big pasture, and everybody seems happy, y'all. Ireland has not shown any aggression whatsoever. He gets along perfectly fine with Helen. As a matter of fact, they lay down together all the time. Helen is as tall as him, but not as wide, not as heavy. He doesn't try any funny stuff with her. He doesn't try any funny... Matter of fact, he's just kind of lazy. I don't know what it is about him. He's a lazy steer. But regardless, I need to do a last call. So if you have been to the merch site, we are going to change August 1st to different merch. Now, I think I'm going to keep the I Am the Vine cups and tumblers. I've talked with Jacqueline about that, and I do believe that I am going to keep that. But everything else this is last call for it. So we're phasing out the Walk by Faith, Not by Sight Helen shirt. We're phasing out the Whoa Nelly shirt, and there will be new merch popping up. So if you have been planning to get one of those shirts and you have not yet, run over there and grab it. We're going to design new tumblers, and we have the Walk by Faith, Not by Sight tumbler also. So we're going to do new tumblers and new cups and new shirts. But anyway, this is last call on that. So April, goodness gracious, August the 1st, we will have new merch go up on the site. So last call, you guys. So there are some things that I have been also doing as far as homesteading / fun. So a lot of the homesteading stuff that people do for a reason is fun to me. So I'm going to show you that on the next video. Now, I do realize, yes, I've been slow on videos, but I'm going to go ahead and record that one today because I need to put out a few videos this month. You know, it is how I get paid to support the farm, is to make videos and you guys to watch it. So if you guys would like, share the videos, hype the videos, get me back out there because, you know, the videos sometimes just don't do as well as I want them to. But, you know, I'm going to share with you all things homesteading. And I showed you making the pickles. I've showed you the stuff that I have canned that's in there and stuff that's in the freezer. But I'm going to show you some more things that we do here on the farm. And all things homesteading, y'all. We live what we say we live. I have not bought a vegetable in 3 or 4 years. I don't eat from the grocery store. I eat from this farm. And I believe that that is the healthiest way for my family to live at this time. So, that being said, you guys farm on.